as human beings, we have a natural tendency to compare ourselves to others. We constantly measure our own successes and failures against those of other people around us. While this can sometimes motivate us to work harder and improve ourselves, it can also be a source of anxiety and self-doubt. Comparing ourselves to others can often lead to feelings of being inadequate or being inferior. When we see someone who we perceive as doing better than us in a certain aspect of life, it's easy to start questioning our own abilities. We might start to doubt whether we can ever achieve what they have achieved, or whether we're even worthy of trying. On the other hand, when we see someone who is less successful than we are, or at least we think they are, it can lead to feelings of superiority and complacency. We might start to think that we are way better than they are and that we don't need to work as hard because we're already doing better than they are. Being motivated is always a good thing, but there is a limit to this, to doing what you think you should be doing just because you think somebody else is doing better than you. Maybe they also think the same thing and think you're doing better than them. It happens to everybody, and don't let it get the best of you. The way the human mind works, somebody you think that might be doing way better than you are because they got a degree that you want might be thinking that they are lacking in the romantic relationship that they want. On the other hand, somebody with a great romantic relationship might be thinking that they are lacking in their education. There's always something that a human will think that they're lacking in, and there's always going to be something that a human will think that they are so great in that they don't need to improve anymore. This is where you will need to learn where the balance is. The truth is, comparing ourselves to others is rarely ever helpful or productive. Everybody has their own timelines that they follow, and it's not the same as yours. And yours is not the same as them. Did you know that Trump started at 77 years old while Obama retired at 55 years old? I had to mention that because those are two people that we all know. Hopefully. Everyone, including you, has their own unique strengths, weaknesses, and circumstances. It is so impossible to make a fair comparison between two people or even more. You also have to remember that success is not a finite resource. Just because somebody else has achieved something that you've been wanting, it does not mean that you can't achieve it. If you are religious and you believe in God and you especially want to connect with God more, I will insert a website that you can visit on the screen right now. I'm mentioning God especially because a lot of the things that you want for your future is not necessarily going to be aligning for the things that you need that God wills you to have. If there is something you need to remember from this video, God's plan will always be better for you than the plan you have for yourself. You just need to learn to trust in Him. But back to comparing ourselves to others, instead of doing that, we should focus on our own goals and aspirations. We should definitely strive to be the best versions of ourselves as we can be, and that is what my account is for this YouTube, without worrying about how we measure up to others. By focusing on our own journey and not having any sideshow distractions, we can achieve a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction that cannot be found when we are constantly trying to keep up with others. When we return to that destructive habit of comparing ourselves to others, it really gets tiring because there's no point. And I repeat, there is no point. You might use it to motivate yourself a little bit, but as I said, there's a limit to that. We will always, and I mean always, have different lives and different timelines from the people around us, whether we like them or not. There is always a reason to why we are where we are. Maybe you're not in a serious relationship yet because God knows you have not taken yourself seriously yet. Maybe you don't have that specific degree that you want yet. Or maybe you're not gonna get it at all because God plans for you to have something different from others that are your age. Maybe you're not getting that house yet because that house that you want to get is gonna make you be further from God. There are so many examples that I can say, but a lot of these things that I am saying of why these things are happening and why things are not, they are because God has plans for you. God's plan, the God who created the world, not just Earth, not just this one universe, not just this one solar system, is always gonna have better plans for you, who has been living here for only a few years of what he has lived through. So sometimes if it feels like he's abandoning you, he isn't. He is directing you to a different path that he knows, not thinks, is best for you. In summary, not comparing ourselves as human as we are is much easier said than done most of the time. It can be extremely difficult to break the habit of constantly comparing ourselves to others, especially in a society that makes competition and achievement so highly. Or in a society that just praises this whole thing of grinding and grinding and grinding until you reach the top. But by recognizing the harmful effects of comparison and making a conscious effort to focus on our own path, we can learn to overcome this habit and live a more fulfilling life. That is it for this podcast today. Don't forget to seek things to be grateful for all around you and especially within you.